Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Annie's Smoking Pot Christmas Around the World edition. Tonight's episode, I am making another dish that was suggested by another amazing couple on YouTube. Their names are AshandKels. They are an absolute inspiration to watch. They just got done doing a series where they traveled to 30 countries in 30 days, took 82 trains, and they did all of this for less than $2,500. $2,500. It's just absolutely unbelievable. They are so informative when they travel. Like, I feel like I could go somewhere that they've been and I know exactly where to stay. I know exactly what to eat, everything, how much money I'm going to need, all of it. So, like I did with the other YouTubers, I reached out to AshandKels and I asked them for inspiration, a dish that brings meaning to them at the holiday times, something that they've encountered on their travels, and they came back with a dish from Wales. It's called Cawl, I think is how you say it. It's C-A-W-L, which is basically, it's a stew, either beef or lamb. They are very Welsh, and we love to watch them because every time Ash asks Kelsey about where they're staying or something, she always gives the same answer. If she would recommend it, 100%. Like, we thought we should turn this into a drinking game. Every time she says 100%, we were going to take a shot. Yeah, we wouldn't have made it 2 minutes into their video, I'm sure, because she's so passionate about where they travel. Both of them are. They're very passionate travelers and they're very informative. They're just amazing couple to watch. So when they suggested I make this Welsh dish, it's from Wales, so I guess that would make it a Welsh dish. Oh, I didn't do very well in geometry or geography, or not geometry, in geography in school. I didn't. I'm terrible at geography. But if it's from Wales, I think that makes it a Welsh dish. We're going to go ahead and start cooking, and I'm just going to stop talking right now. So what I did is I started with the lamb. What you want to do is you want to cook it early in the morning, or you can even do it the day before. I boiled my lamb on the bone in just some stock, got it to a boil, topped it off, turned it down, and I let it simmer for 3 hours to build flavor. I also salted and peppered the lamb before I put it in there. Once 3 hours was done, took it off the heat. I let it cool down, took the meat off of the bone, cut it up into nice little bite-sized pieces, and then I let that stock cool down because lamb is a very fatty meat. You want to let the stock cool down so that you can skim the fat off of the top, which is what I did. I've now put the meat back into the pot, and now we're going to build a stew. So I'm going to go ahead and get my pot back to a boil. I forgot a cutting board. I'm just going to sit here and hold my hand out, and look what happens magically. Ah, a cutting board. So now let's start cooking. I got us some potatoes. Let's get those peeled. This is the most amazing peeler. I have had this peeler for probably 20 years. You have to be careful though. I do have a chunk missing from my thumb from about 20 years ago. Took a piece out. Yeah, no, it happens. I think we're only going to use one potato. It is just my husband and I, as I've said before, so I don't need to feed an army. All right, let's go ahead and get this cut. And I'm going to just cut this into some nice bite-sized pieces. The smaller you cut them, the quicker they cook. You don't have to peel your carrots if you don't want to. I like to peel them because then the flavor of the broth penetrates, I think, much better into the flesh of the carrot, and it's just so much better. So we're just going to cut this up as well, like I said, into just some nice bite-sized pieces. You don't want to go too small because you don't want them to get lost in the stew, but if they're too big, they're not going to cook. So AshandKels, hopefully they're watching this video. Again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting back to me and suggesting I cook this. I'm just a tiny little channel. Hopefully not forever. Hopefully, I'll become bigger channel. Eventually, my husband and I are going to start traveling. That is our goal, like I mentioned in the last video. We just had to kind of put it on hold for a few medical reasons. I've had multiple body parts replaced, and I've got a hip and a knee that still need to be replaced. So, kind of got to take care of that before I start traveling. But once I do, you know what? I'm hopeful. I am so hopeful that I'm going to get to meet these travelers that I have idolized for quite some time now. You know, that's my goal almost. Seeing countries, but meeting the people that I have followed. And I'm not going to lie, I'll probably go totally fangirl on you. So I've got my potatoes in there, got the carrots in there. I'm going to go ahead and turn it up just a little bit because I don't want it to get too off the boil point. I just don't want it to boil. And a parsnip. Never had a parsnip. Wasn't even sure what one was. Took me a while at the grocery store to find it, but I found it. I am assuming it looks like a root vegetable. So because of that, we're going to peel it. I really don't know. Never made parsnips. That's been one thing that's been really fun these last 2 episodes, my Christmas Around the World series. I've cooked with ingredients I've never cooked with before. I cooked with tofu yesterday. Never made tofu. And Thai chilies. Oh, by the way, if you've never had a Thai chili, go easy. They are spicy. And now tonight, we're cooking parsnips. Parsnips. Huh. So here's another fun fact about AshandKels as well. They actually once traveled on foot. They walked across an entire country. On foot. On foot. There's going to be a link somewhere down below, over here, above my head, somewhere to their YouTube channel, AshandKels. You have to check them out. They are truly an inspiration. So I don't think I'm going to use any more of that parsnip because I think I've got a good ratio of vegetables to meat going right now. So I'm just going to throw everything behind me in my little garbage bowl. Now the leeks, you don't want to add the leeks yet. The leeks are going to go in when everything is just about done because they cook up quickly. Now that we've got everything in here, we've got a nice low boil. I'm going to go ahead and just turn it down. I'm going to put a lid on it and we're going to let it simmer. Oh, I lied. First, we're going to add some salt and pepper. Can't go wrong with salt and pepper. You don't want to add too much salt because like I said, I did already salt the lamb and that stock has a little bit of salt in it as well from the lamb. So we're just going to add some fresh pepper. Oh, the smells that are coming off of that are just amazing. All right, so now that we've got that going, I'm going to go ahead and turn it down. I'm going to put a lid on it, and you're going to just let it simmer for about, I'm going to guess probably about 10 minutes. You want to make sure that the parsnips and the potatoes and the carrots are fork tender. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and we'll meet you back here. Okay, it has been about 7 minutes. Our carrots, our potatoes are nice and fork tender. So we're going to go ahead and add our leeks. The leeks, I'm just going to just thinly slice them. This is something else I've never cooked with before, leeks. I actually had to Google what part of the leek can you eat? The white and the light green. You don't want to get into the dark green because then it gets tough. So we're going to stop right there. And I also cut the little nubby off. Nobody likes nubbies. Nobody. Oh, can you see that? Annie's smoking pot. Look at that. All right, we're going to go ahead and just kind of break these up in there. Now, you can leave it as the consistency that it is right now, the broth. But this is a stew. Stew, I love a rich, thick broth. So what I did is I've got a little bit of cornstarch here. I am going to create a slurry. All a slurry is cornstarch and some of the stock. And then you just kind of mix it back up in there and it creates a rich, delicious, delicious broth. Just dissolve that cornstarch. You can also use flour, but I find that cornstarch just dissolves better. Flour has a tendency sometimes to clump, and nobody likes clumps. Now, I'm not going to dump it all in at once because I don't know how much I actually need. So I'm just going to incorporate just a little bit in and give that a stir and see where my consistency is. Oh, it's looking good, but I think I still want it a little bit just a little bit thicker. So we're gonna add a little bit more. Thank you again, AshandKels, for this amazing recommendation. This smells so good. I cannot wait to give that a taste. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead, I think, and add the rest of this in. Oh, this is looking amazing. You know, I also want to thank you, AshandKels, for entertaining me. To have somebody that I can live vicariously through like you guys has been just an absolute godsend. You have been so entertaining, and you've given me goals. You have given me a goal of what I want to do when I'm finally able to do it. You know what? I think our stew is done. This smells incredible. Oh my goodness, I can't wait. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and shut this off, and I'm gonna go ahead and clean up my table. Clean that off. I'm gonna make some room here, dish this up, and show you how it looks. Oh, I also have some fresh parsley that I'm gonna go ahead and chop up because it recommends a little fresh parsley on top. Doesn't need to be fancy. It's mostly just for looks. Let's go ahead and see what we've got. I also picked up an amazing, just an artisan roll, because when you have stew, you need that bread to dunk on in there. That's the rules. I'm pretty sure there's a stew book somewhere that tells you, if you have stew, you gotta have a roll. Ash, Kels, you tell me, did I do it right? Is this what it's supposed to look like? Looks like a rich, thick, hearty stew to me. It's called Cawl. C-A-W-L. It's actually Cawl. I suppose if I had like a Welsh accent, it might sound better. Not going to attempt it, because whenever I attempt an accent, it's going to come out like Southern Hillbilly if I try. I'm sure of it. Not to offend the Southern Hillbillies. And some parsley. And there we have it. Cawl. Lamb stew from Wales. Again, thank you, AshandKels, for the great suggestion. Let you know when the video's up. Hope you check it out. I think I'm going to enjoy this. I really think I'm going to enjoy this. So again, if you've liked my video, be sure to give it a good thumbs up. Hit that subscribe. Subscribe. And make sure you hit that link somewhere. There's going to be a link to AshandKels. They're also on Instagram. I follow them on Instagram. Check them out there as well. You won't be disappointed. I promise. All right. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.